Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to go and solve the 4-computer version. So you can see I've got my 2-computer version solved. Everything worked okay. So I'm going to go over and try the same thing, but this time for the more complicated problem. So if you remember on this one, after doing some sales for a little bit, they had the idea of adding some extra products. And so they decided that they could make a computer called the multiplex that's kind of between the simplex and omniplex, and then a megaplex that was the most expensive, fanciest one, would take the longest but also make the most money. So I'm going to go through and solve that. I've got all my equations from before, and then the table that we got in our Google Doc that talked about these 2 new computers. And then the one piece of information that's not shown on here was how much that profit was. But I remember that was $250 for the multiplex, $400 for the megaplex. So we're going to start out exactly the same as before. In fact, I could take this information and I could just copy it for these 2 columns. And if I wanted to, I could just take those and copy them over because those haven't changed at all. Right. Still $200 and still the same amount of time as before, but we've got 2 new products. We're also making the multiplex and the megaplex. Right. It doesn't matter what numbers we have here, so I'm just going to leave those alone. The profit for the multiplex is $250. Profit for the megaplex is $400. And then let's go back and grab what those constraints were also. Well, in this one, I forgot to put down that that was the testing constraint. So let's grab these. Right, no reason to type it all again. All right, so for the install time, down here it says that the multiplex takes 90 minutes, the megaplex takes 150. For the maximum simplex, what they figured out was that the combined sales of the 2 lower models couldn't exceed 20. So the simplex and the multiplex go against their low-end models. The omniplex and megaplex go against their high-end models. So I'm going to change this to maximum low-end products and maximum high-end products. And so the multiplex counts as a low, the megaplex counts as a high. And I'll just put zeros in for the ones that don't count. And then for the testing, the multiplex takes as long as the omniplex, the megaplex takes even longer. And then my limits are the same as before. So let's grab those numbers also. So the limits haven't changed. The only difference now are the formulas. So remember that formula is going to be to multiply the decision value row times the row that you're in. So you can do that. You can click equals B4 times B6 plus C4 times C6 plus D4 times D6 plus E4 times E6, right? And it will do the math for us. Or there's actually a new formula that we also learned in the second half, and that's to use the fact that we're doing the sum of a bunch of multiplications, right? We're doing the sum of the products. So there's a formula called sum product that will actually do that math for us, right? So we could do it this way, or for these other ones, I'm just going to do the new way. So equals sum, and notice when you start typing, it pulls up different formulas. Sum product is right there. So sum product, right? And the way sum product works is you say what the 2 things you're going to multiply, 2 groups are that you're going to multiply and add. So I'm going to multiply this row, and then so grab B4 all the way to E4, then a comma, and then the row that you're in from 4 till from B to E, do a parenthesis, and if you hit enter, it will do the math right there, right? They have some suggested autofills that come up, but I'm not going to have it do the autofills. I'm going to fill down myself, but I want to make sure that every time it's multiplying row 4 times the row that I'm in, so the 4 has to stay the same. Put a $ in front of both the 4's here, and this way it'll multiply row 4, B through E, times whatever row I'm in when I fill it down. So I'll drag this down, have it fill in. And now, does this make sense? Do these numbers make sense? For example, this one, 12 omniplexes plus 4 megaplexes would add up to 16 of my high-end computers. It's working out just great, 16 and a half. 12 and a half plus 4 is 16 and a half. So it looks like the formula is good. I could also, another good way to check it is change everything to 0 and then just put a 1 one at a time and make sure the formulas are working. So this one should be 60, a 1, a 0, and a 20, and it is 61, 0, and 20. If I change this back to a 0 and put this as a 1, this column should be the same as this column, 120, 0, 1, and 24. It's all working out correctly. So, like I said, doesn't matter what numbers are in here, just want to double check the math. So this is looking good. It's ready to solve. Solving is going to be exactly the same as before. So I'm going to go up to Add-ons, Open Solver, and open my sidebar. And then I want to double check that it's on the ComputerFlips4 version. And then objective cell is total profit. So I'll click objective cell, update. And I'm going to make these just a little bit more narrow so that I can see all the columns that I need. I want to maximize everything. The variables that it's going to change are these 4 numbers. The computer's going to decide what they should be to maximize my profit. And then the constraints, I want all of these, click the top update, to be less than or equal to all of these. Click the bottom row update, and then I'll save that constraint, make sure it's listed up here, and then I'll click Solve Model. And you'll see it try different numbers up here as it goes along. It's going to try making different ones bigger or smaller, and it decides that the most money you could make would be $7,000. That's 15 simplexes and 10 megaplexes. That would be the most money to make. Don't bother making omniplex or multiplex. They're not really worth it, right? Did we make more money? $7,000. With the original version, we were making $6,750. Now we're making $7,000, so our company's going to make a higher profit. Be sure to let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.